Wrong number. How did a wrong text message expose a 10-year lie? What if a wrong text message to your phone exposed the biggest deception of your life? What if you discovered that the person you trusted for 10 years had been playing a huge game with you? The story I'm about to tell you will shock you. Are you ready? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. My name is Sarah Williams. I'm 32 years old and I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm a graphic designer with a small but successful agency in Capitol Hill. I'm single. Been with Michael for 5 years. We met at Pike Place Market. It was raining that day. Typical Seattle weather. Michael is a software engineer, works at Amazon. We were actually thinking about marriage. We even looked at rings at Tiffany's last month. Everything was perfect. Until 3 days ago. It all started that Tuesday evening. I had stayed late at the office, had a big Starbucks project delivery. I got home to my Queen place at 11 p.m., exhausted. I had showered and gotten into bed when my phone rang. A message had arrived. The message was from a number I didn't recognize. Let's change tomorrow's meeting place. How about the Fairmont Olympic lobby at 2 p.m.? Wrong number, I thought. These things happen in Seattle, big city. I didn't even reply. But a minute later it stuck in my mind. Michael also started with M. Ridiculous. I told myself, I know Michael's number. This is a different number. Still, I was curious. I called Michael. He said he had just gotten off work, was very tired. When I asked about his plans for tomorrow, he said normal work day. He asked why. I said just wondering. We exchanged I love US. He seemed normal. But that message was stuck in my head. The next day at lunchtime, curiosity got the better of me. Fairmont Olympic Hotel is downtown, 10 minutes from my office. I thought, let me go take a look. Maybe it really was a wrong number. I laughed it off. At 2 o'clock, I was in the hotel lobby. A classic, elegant place. I ordered coffee. Sat in a corner. I was scanning around. Nobody caught my attention. At 2:15 p.m. someone entered through the door. It was Michael. I froze. Michael. My Michael was here. But why? I averted my eyes. Tried to hide in my corner. Michael scanned the area, like he was looking for someone. Then he took out his phone, wrote a message. My phone rang. He was apologizing, saying he was late, asking me to give him 10 more minutes. I couldn't believe it. Was Michael sending those messages? But why to the wrong number? 10 minutes later, a young, beautiful woman entered through the door. Long blonde hair, athletic build. Michael stood up, walked toward her. They hugged. They kissed. My heart stopped. My boyfriend of 5 years, the man we were planning to marry, was kissing another woman before my eyes. They sat on the couch on the other side of the lobby. I could see them, but they couldn't see me. The coffee in my hand was trembling. They were talking, laughing. Michael was putting his hand on the woman's hand. They looked very comfortable, as if they had known each other for a long time. The woman was caressing Michael's face. Michael had given her flowers, red roses. They stayed for about an hour. Their conversation was so intimate. Michael was acting as if I didn't exist. They were making plans with the woman, looking at their calendars. Michael gave the woman an envelope. I couldn't see what was inside, but after the woman opened it and looked, she smiled and kissed Michael. Then they left together, got in the same car. I followed them. Was it crazy? Maybe. But I had to know now. I followed them by taxi. They went to an expensive restaurant in Belltown. They sat at a table by the window. I watched from outside. Michael was kissing the woman's hand. The woman was showing him her wedding ring, the diamond ring sparkling on her finger. And then I understood. This woman was married. Was Michael involved with a married woman? I went inside the restaurant, sat at a distant table. When the waiter came to take my order, I said the couple over there were my friends, that I would pay their bill. The waiter went to their table, said something. Michael was surprised, scanned around. He didn't see me, but became uneasy. I watched them throughout the meal. Michael was constantly looking at his phone. The woman was telling him something. She was very excited. Then she took Michael's phone, wrote something. My phone rang. He was saying the meeting had run long. He couldn't come tonight. We'd see each other tomorrow. He loved me. I was shocked. Michael was lying to me while having dinner with the woman, and I was sitting in the same restaurant. I returned to the office, but couldn't work. My mind was only on what I had seen. How was this possible? Was Michael only cheating on me? Or was there a bigger game? In the evening, Michael came to my house. He was acting as usual. He asked about my day. I said it was fine, trying not to let anything show in my voice. He also said there were boring meetings. He was lying. I swear. He was lying. I couldn't sleep that night. I was looking at Michael sleeping next to me. Didn't I know this man I had known for 5 years at all? I kept thinking about that blonde woman. Who was she? How long had they been together? The next morning after Michael went to work, I decided I would find out who that woman was. But first I thought about whether to hire a detective or not. Then I decided to search Michael's laptop. Before opening the laptop, I did a more detailed search of the house. In Michael's closet were suits I had never seen, expensive brands, New York store tags. Among the shoe boxes I found plane tickets, Seattle, New York. At least 20 trips in the last 2 years. But Michael had never told me he went to New York. In the bedroom drawer, I found stranger things. Postcards written to Emma, gift cards. For my favorite Emma writings, I checked the dates, some from last month, some from 6 months ago. In Michael's wallet there were also 2 ID cards. One Michael Anderson, Seattle, the other Michael Harrison, New York. Same photo, different names. Did he have 2 identities? I opened Michael's laptop. The password was his birthday. Easy to guess. I checked his emails. Among the work emails, I found something strange. Last week, he had received an email from his personal Gmail account titled about the inheritance matter. Sender: New York Legal. I opened the email. Dear Michael, as we discussed, the inheritance documents are almost complete. Your wife Saren knows nothing about your real identity or family fortune. The plan is working perfectly. Emma's performance in the girlfriend role is flawless. Remember, after the documents are signed, you can abandon this comedy and return to New York with your inheritance. The will stipulates that you must be happily married and settled for the $50 million inheritance from your grandfather. The fake engagement should convince the lawyers. Let us know when you want to proceed with the final step. Regards, Harrison and Associates. The world crashed down on me. Inheritance. Wife, Fake engagement. Emma. Michael. Who was Michael? And what was I in this game? I researched further. In Michael's browser history were luxury real estate sites in New York. Harrison Estate Lawyers NYC searches. How to fake marriage for inheritance searches. And then I found it. Michael's real name. Michael Harrison. The heir to Harrison Estate. He had to prove he was in a happy marriage to inherit from his grandfather. I was just a tool he used to get his inheritance. So who was Emma? That blonde woman? I found Michael's secret Instagram account at Micah_NYC. There were photos with Emma, taken in New York, with my real girlfriend Emma, missing NYC life. I looked at the dates. These photos were from 6 months ago, the time we decided to get engaged. I understood. Michael's real life was in New York. His real girlfriend was Emma. I was just a legal figure to get his inheritance. But how could I have been so stupid? 5 years. The man I thought I loved for 5 years was using me. The phone rang. Message from Michael. Honey, I'll be late today. Work rush. I love you. But I had seen him on Instagram Live at a restaurant in New York with Emma. Moreover, Emma's husband James was also at the table. The three of them were having dinner together. I wanted to test this situation. I replied to Michael. I wrote that Tom from Amazon had called him, asking how I knew him because he couldn't find him on the employee list. 5 minutes later the phone rang. Michael was panicked. He asked who Tom was. Said there was no one named Tom at Amazon. Really strange. Maybe I misunderstood. I said. He said yes, I had misunderstood. He was in a meeting now, we talk later. Lie upon lie. The next day I went even further. I researched Michael's office address. I went to Amazon's Seattle office. Asked security about Michael Anderson. They said no such person worked there. I said he was a software engineer who had been working for 5 years. They said they would check the system, but there was no record. Michael had been telling me he worked at Amazon for 5 years, but had never worked there. When I got home, an even bigger shock was waiting for me. A woman was standing at the door. It was Emma. She asked if I was Sarah. Yes, and you're Emma, I said. She said we needed to talk about Michael. I let her in. Emma was pregnant. Her belly was showing. She asked what Michael had told me about her. Nothing. I said I had seen her for the first time yesterday. She was surprised. Hadn't he mentioned that they had been together for 7 years? 7 years. But I had been with him for 5 years, I said. She said yes, she knew. I was his Seattle project. Seattle project. I asked. Emma told me everything. She said Michael's real name was Michael Harrison, that he was the child of a millionaire family. She said his grandfather had left $50 million when he died, but conditionally. Michael had to marry and settle before age 35, start a family. She said he loved her, but couldn't marry her because she was his cousin's wife. It would be a family scandal. So he had found me. He would marry me, get his inheritance, then divorce and be with her. Why do you accept this? I asked. She said because she loved Michael and because this baby was his. She said she was cheating on James. I couldn't believe it. Michael was cheating on both me and James. But why are you telling me this? I asked. Her eyes filled up. She said James was suspicious, had hired a private detective. If he found out everything, it would ruin both Michael's inheritance and her own marriage. She had told Michael, but he wasn't listening. "What can I do?" I said. She said not to marry Michael, to ruin the plan, please. After Emma left, my head was even more confused. Michael's game was much more complex. He wasn't just using me. He was cheating on James too, using Emma too. That was enough. I researched deeper. Michael's real identity, real job, everything was a lie. He didn't even work at Amazon. I called Amazon and asked. There was no employee named Michael Anderson. Where was the money coming from then? I checked bank accounts. Money was being transferred regularly from NYC, from Harrison Estate. Then I found Emma's social media accounts. On Instagram, she constantly talked about Michael as her boyfriend, but she never mentioned my existence in Seattle, as if I didn't exist. I read Emma's friends' comments. "Emma, when will Michael get rid of that fake girlfriend in Seattle? As soon as the inheritance thing is over, he'll return. The poor girl has no idea. You've had a 7-year relationship. Hang in there a little longer." 7 years. Michael had been with Emma for 7 years while having a 5-year relationship with me. I was his side job. But what I found later was even more shocking. It turned out Emma was married. Her husband was James Harrison, Michael's cousin. And most striking, Emma was pregnant. On Instagram, there were baby photos, doctor appointments. She was 3 months pregnant, and the father was Michael. Michael was my boyfriend of 5 years, Emma's boyfriend of 7 years, and Emma was married and pregnant with Michael's baby. At this point, I was completely confused. What the hell was Michael doing? Was he living 3 separate lives? When I researched further, I understood. James Harrison was Michael's cousin, but also his rival for the inheritance. If Michael's grandfather didn't deem Michael worthy, the inheritance would go to James. Michael was both having an affair with Emma and cheating on James, while also trying to secure his inheritance by using me. The plan was, marry me, get his inheritance, then divorce, and Emma would also divorce James and they'd be together. They were playing a triple game. That evening when Michael came home, I was ready. I asked if I should call him Michael or Harrison. His face changed. He panicked. He said he could explain. What will you explain? I asked. That you've been lying to me for 5 years? That I'm just a tool for your inheritance? That Emma is your real girlfriend? He collapsed. He sat in the chair, put his head in his hands. He asked how I found out. Does it matter? I replied. The real question is, why, Michael? Why did you do this to me? There was a long silence. Then he started talking. He said his grandfather had left him $50 million. But there was a condition. He had to be married and settled. Prove he was a responsible adult. He said the lawyers checked periodically. He needed a wife. So you came to Seattle and found me? I asked. Yes, he said. He had researched me. I was perfect, independent, successful, no nearby family to ask questions. I had easily believed the story. My tears started flowing. My 5-year relationship was completely fake. What about Emma? I asked. He said she was his real girlfriend. They had been together for 7 years. She knew the plan. She was waiting for him in New York. What about the fake marriage plan? I asked. They would have a simple courthouse wedding. Quick, easy. After getting his inheritance, he would divorce me and return to New York. What about me? I asked. What would happen to me in this grand plan? He said he would give me a generous settlement, enough for me to start over. I couldn't believe it. This man had deceived me for 5 years, played games with me, and now he was telling me this like it was normal business. Get out, I said. He said, Sarah, get out. I shouted. He left. He left without taking his things. The next day I talked to my lawyer. This situation was legally very complicated. Michael technically hadn't committed any crime. He had deceived me. But we weren't married. We had no legal ties. But I wasn't going to give up. I found Harrison Estates lawyers in NYC. I called them. I said I was Sarah Williams from Seattle. I think you know my fiancé Michael Harrison. They said, oh yes, Michael had mentioned me. Congratulations on our upcoming marriage. I said, actually, there's something you should know about Michael and this marriage. I told them everything. Michael's lies, Emma, the fake plan. The lawyers were shocked. Was I saying Mr. Harrison was trying to defraud the estate? Absolutely, I said. He has a real girlfriend in New York. Our relationship is completely fake. He was planning to marry me just for the inheritance, then divorce me. They said this was very serious. The will stipulated the marriage must be genuine. If they could prove fraud, I said I had evidence, emails, browser history, photos taken with Emma. 2 days later, Michael called me. He was panicked. He asked what I had done. I said I told the truth. Michael, what you should have done 5 years ago. He said they would take away his inheritance. This was his family money. Maybe you should have thought about that before deciding to play with people's lives, I said. He said, please, Sarah. He would do anything. He would give me half the inheritance if I just said we were really together. Too late, Michael. I said, I already gave my statement. The story didn't end here. A week later, I got a call from Harrison Estate. They said they had reviewed the evidence. Mr. Harrison's inheritance had been revoked due to attempted fraud. However, there was something else. What? I asked. There was an alternative clause in the will. If the main heir was deemed unworthy, the inheritance would go to the life partner of at least 5 years, if they could prove genuine commitment and character. I'm sorry, what are you trying to say? I asked. You've been with Michael for 5 years. Instead of participating in fraud, you showed honesty by exposing him. According to our investigation, you genuinely believed the relationship was real. The inheritance lawyers want to meet with you. I couldn't believe it. Because I exposed Michael, could I inherit? A week later, I flew to NYC. I met with Harrison Estates lawyers. Michael's grandfather had wanted to leave his inheritance to someone of good character. Since Michael couldn't meet these conditions, I, who was his long-term partner and had proven my honesty, qualified. Of course, I wasn't getting the entire inheritance, but I was getting a significant portion. $25 million, enough. Yesterday, I returned to Seattle. No word from Michael. I guess he stayed in New York with Emma. Both of them are broke now. Me. I'm starting a new life with a $25 million inheritance. Michael's attempt to deceive me ended up making me a millionaire. I went back to the Fairmont Olympic Hotel yesterday evening. I sat in the same chair, drank my coffee. This time I wasn't waiting for anyone. I was just thinking. I lived a fake love for 5 years, but that fake love led me to real wealth. Michael destroyed himself while trying to use me. Sometimes life is strange, isn't it? The person trying to destroy you can actually be your savior. That wrong message wasn't wrong at all. That message was the beginning of my new life. What do you think? Did Michael get what he deserved? Or was I too harsh? Share your thoughts in the comments.